friends, the other day I had posted a Halloween card using Mama Elephant's Boo-tastic stamp set, and I couldn't stop there. I had to make a second card, so I'm sharing it in a separate video because otherwise that video would have been like half an hour long. I never would have been able to get it uploaded. So kind of the same idea, but using some different characters and a different die. So I'm using the My Favorite Things Peekaboo squared die for this card. And rather than fussy cutting out the images, I want to stamp them all directly onto the cardstock that's going to go behind the die. So I used the die on some more Doodlebug pattern paper from the Ghouls and Goodies pack that I just got. And I cut some cardstock to just slightly smaller than this die cut. And then I'm just using a pencil to mark where all the openings are, so that I make sure not to stamp parts of the stamps in the other openings and that everything will kind of line up. So I'm just inking up the little images from this little Boo-tastic set with My Favorite Things Black Licorice Hybrid ink, and then stamping them within these circles. So I chose the little vampire and the princess and the little cat, and then as an afterthought decided to add the little spider as well because I thought it was cute. And I purposely left the fourth circle empty because that's where I'm going to put my sentiment. So I'm using my Copic markers to color in the little images. This was CC Designs Copic Quality 80-pound cardstock, by the way. And out of force of habit, just starting with their skin. So I just used E41 and E42 for the skin. And then with the little vampire, I went over that with G40 just to kind of give it a green tone. Something a little different. And then added a little bit of the R22 to the R20 to the princess's cheeks. And then for her hair, I used Y15 and Y19. And then for his hair, I used C3, C5, and C7. Purposely didn't blend it because I wanted that kind of light area in the middle to kind of look like a highlight. So really simple. I said it with the other video too. Images like this are just so quick and easy to color in, and I just think they're so cute. So for her outfit, I did V12, 15, and 17 for the purple, and then decided to do his outfit in kind of the same color scheme as well. Normally with vampire images, especially when they have the cape, I tend to want to do, black and red. That's, how they always are, but I wanted the colors to go with that Doodlebug pattern paper. So I wanted everything to be in like purples and greens and oranges. And it made it just simpler. So I went back and forth with the purples to get them blended out really quickly, not worrying about the parts that went outside my little penciled circle because you're not going to see it. So colored those in, and then that spot that went out of the line there with the purple on his cape, I'm going to push that back with the green, so I'm not worried about it at all. Once I add a little bit of darker green, I'll kind of push the purple deeper into the cardstock and you won't notice that I messed up there at all. So as for the greens, my favorite combo again, the YG03, 05, and 07, and working from lightest to darkest to get the colors that I want. So quickly blending them out, and then for the little kitty cat, I used YR 04, 07, and 09. And with him, I didn't do any blending at all, just because I wanted the little dark area to where those little stripes are on his back. I thought that would just give it a little extra something. So I went in with the YR 04 first, and then dotted on the YR 07, and then used that also for the little vampire's vest. And then really lightly dotted on the YR 09, and then blended out his vest, and that finished off the coloring. So then I can adhere pattern paper over it. So before I do that, I quickly erased the pencil lines I did, just in case I don't adhere the paper perfectly. It's easier to erase it before than after the pattern paper is adhered. So quickly erase that, and then I decided the pattern paper, it just needed a little something to help define it. So I just took my black soot distress marker. Any black marker would work. This is the one I have near me, and I don't seem to have any like fresh black markers that work other than this one. They're all dried out. I need to get some different ones. Anyway, so I just ran that along the edges of the openings and then along the outside edge as well. And it coated the white part you'd see from the inside of the paper, and it just gave it that little bit of something to kind of finish off. You can kind of see it here. So I don't know, I think it made a big difference. So I used my Tombow Mono Multi to adhere it, making sure not to put on too much so you don't have glue oozing out everywhere and making a big mess. And then this sentiment is from that same Bootastic set. And that's what inspired the whole like peekaboo card layout and having them peek out of this die cut and everything else was this sentiment. So that's kind of what got my brain working and coming up with this idea. So I stamped it onto a scrap of the white cardstock with the same black licorice hybrid ink. And then I quickly just colored in all of these open letters with the same Copic markers I used for the main little images, but I only used one marker per color. I didn't bother with adding darker shading or blending. Yeah, there's enough going on with this card that I wasn't going to do a whole bunch of effort on the sentiment. So I just quickly colored it in. I thought that looked really cute. And then I trimmed the ends down a little bit, and then I just cut a notch with my scissors in the middle of each end so that I could cut little flag ends there to kind of finish it off, plus to make it a little bit smaller, because this is quite a large sentiment, and where I want to put it, it's going to cover up a lot. So did that, and then you can see that's where I'm going to place it over that fourth opening. And since I'm kind of OCD, I had to edge this with the black marker as well, and I ended up edging the card front panel as well with the black marker, just so everything is consistent. So did that, edged the card front panel, and then I die cut some little spider webs. This is the Paper Smooches Halloween Icons Wise dies, and I die cut some black and gray Doodlebug cardstock with the die. So really cute, and then just a really thin line of my Tombow Monomulti to adhere that to the little card front here. And this pattern paper is from the same Doodlebug Ghouls and Goodies 6x6 pack. And adhered the webs, and then I'm going to adhere this to my card front, which is standard A2 size, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 white cardstock. And then once I've got that adhered, I can flip this over and then cut off the little pieces of the web that are hanging off. I would normally leave something like this, I don't mind it, but because they're such little tiny pieces, they'd get caught on something and rip off anyway, and I wouldn't want the card to get ripped. So just snip them off. And then to attach sentiment, I'm using my new little mini paper clips that I also got with this pattern paper from Doodlebug, something I would normally hoard. But I've been trying to think of ways to use them, and it was perfect to attach the sentiment to the main image here. So I did that, and then I just added an extra little orange mini paper clip because I could. Super cute. So for a final embellishment, I wanted to add some baker's twine, and since this is a top folding card, I needed to cut a hole in the top. And I just used my craft knife to cut a little hole that I could push the baker's twine through with my finger, and then wrap that around the card front and tie it in a bow. And then I'm just going to use some foam tape to pop this main image onto here. I think the foam tape is easiest when you've got like the paper clips and everything else going on. So lots of dimension with this card. So get that all peeled off and into place, and then I can trim off the ends of the baker's twine. And then I had also die cut a little spider with the same Halloween Icons Wise dies, so I adhered him into place with a little dab of my Tombow Monomulti. And then I had to remember to add a little thread to the spider there so that he's like hanging down and not just floating in midair, which would freak me out. But I've already talked about my phobia of real spiders. Freak me out. Little stampy Halloween cute paper spiders are adorable. And actually, funny story, when I was die cutting, it wasn't this card, but I was literally die cutting some spiders for a Halloween card, and a spider crawled out from under my die cut machine, and thankfully it was a teeny tiny one, so it didn't totally freak me out. If it had been anything bigger than like the end of my pinky, I would have been screaming my head off. And what are the chances? Like, I was literally die cutting a spider as a real one comes out and scares me. I just have issues. Anyway, I die cut another spider web for the inside of the card, and then stamped a sentiment from the set, and then stamped that little spider, and then just attached him with the same marker to that spider web. And then finally, could not leave this card without adding a bit of bling, so I coated all the open letters with my clear Wink of Stella, and then coated the little images like her outfit and the cat's hat, and then the vampire, and then as an afterthought, I coated the vampire's skin with the clear glitter too, so he's all sparkly. Some of you might get that reference. I thought I was being clever. So coated all of that, so it's got a bit of shimmer, and that's all there was to it. So if you're interested in the supplies used or anything like that, that will be right below the video in the info box below, so check that out, as well as a link to my blog. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing and thumbs upping my videos, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!